Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome back for event number 2 of this evening. This is the United Dirt Sim Series Sportsman Division Goyet Trucking 360 Spec Series, coming to you live from Barberville, Florida, in the virtual Volusia Speedway Park. This is a half-mile D-shaped oval, famously known as the fastest half-mile on Earth. Fastest dirt half-mile on Earth, my mistake. Currently going through qualifying time trials right now, and as you see, currently quick time is the number 79 of the Tuna Can, Billy Rowley, turning in a 13:8:20, and looks like he did that on his second lap under green, so good time there from Billy Rowley. Second on the clock right now is Dustin Griffiths at just 17 thousandths off of his pace, with Mark Broderick at 36 thousandths off the pace in third place. Rylan Gray brought home fourth, and Joseph Bonagurio sitting sixth, but looks like Caleb Harmon just turned in an excellent lap, 13:8:37, which is going to move him up to second quick as we have a couple minutes remaining here in qualifying time trials. Before we get too into the action here, we'll take a few moments and play our nation's first song, as this is the July 4th weekend, and happy Independence Day to everybody. So we'll be back in just a few moments.
Two-time Grammy and three-time Academy of Country Music Award winner Leanne Rimes in the performance of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ringing, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Alright, and welcome back. Looks like qualifying time trials are just finishing up. Top 5 will be Billy Rowley, Caleb Harmon, Dustin Griffiths, Mark Broderick, and Rylan Gray. And last I checked, I believe we had 44 cars possibly that timed in, so we should have 4 heat races total for you tonight. And then we should have a C, B, and A main. So, rolling into our first heat race now. Looks like starting on the pole will be the number 44 of Miles Jansen. Outside of him, the 92 of Corey Austin. Row number 2, the 06 of Rylan Gray. And your quick time tonight, the 79 of the Tuna Can, Billy Rowley. Row number 3 will be Peyton Grease in the 292 and the 97 of Alex Hanna. Row number 4, the 123 of Tyler LaPointe and the 19 of John Ruby. Row number 5 will be Gary Denton in the 111 and the 58 of Cale Heibolt. Row number 6 will be Tyler McCabe, and rounding out your field will be Reagan Edwards in the 28. Looks like Pace Truck is moving, and looks like our cars will be forming up behind him now. We're going to go on board right now with Miles Jansen as he paces around the field. We'll ride with him over the next lap or so and watch him take the green flag on his next time around. This is a little bit of a loaded heat race here, as we've got Peyton Grease, Alex Hanna, Billy Rowley, Rylan Gray, Corey Austin, and Miles Jansen all in this first heat race, as well as Tyler LaPointe, John Ruby. I mean, any of the top 8 cars in this heat race could easily bring it home, so hopefully your favorite driver is not in this heat race if you were looking for an easy win here. And caution lights are out on the iRacing.com Pace Truck, so he'll be pulling off out of turn 4, at which point Miles Jansen is free to go anytime. And as I said, we're going to ride along with Miles Jansen while he takes the green, then we'll go back to our standard broadcast camera shortly. And green flag is out for Miles Jansen as he jumps to the early lead. And looks like Corey Austin and Billy Rowley are going to settle into second and third. Rylan Gray currently running fourth. Everybody slowly working the low side of the speedway in at this time. A few cars seem to have made contact at the back of the field, but looks like everybody's still clean and green at this point. Now Rylan Gray beginning to look at the inside of Billy Rowley through 3 and 4. Rowley's going to keep it low and not leave a whole lot of room there for Rylan Gray. Meanwhile, Miles Jansen continues to open up his lead just slightly. Track is fairly heavy at this time, so we don't expect to see a whole lot of passing in these early heat races. Single file around the top, Miles Jansen still leads the race. Corey Austin second, Billy Rowley third, and Rylan Gray in your fourth and final transfer spot. Peyton Grease running fifth, trying to close the gap on Rylan Gray, working right around the bottom of the track, staying low out of turn 2. And coming down to 5 laps to go, Miles Jansen still leads. Corey Austin second, Billy Rowley third, and now Alex Hanna beginning to challenge Peyton Grease. Unable to make it stick back there in the battle for 5th and 6th. Meanwhile, your top 4 continue to pull away. Maintaining single file, I believe a lot of these guys are just going to go ahead and ride in position. Make sure they get that transfer spot into tonight's A main. Now Corey Austin and Billy Rowley beginning to race it out for that second spot. Rowley with the run down the backstretch, looks low under Corey Austin. Contact. Corey Austin sideways manages to gather it up, but he's going to fall out of that transfer spot, and that'll move Peyton Grease up into your fourth and final transfer spot as John Ruby and Alex Hanna continue to battle it out for 5th and 6th. Whoa, looks like Peyton Grease got a little high. Now John Ruby going to be the recipient of a right rear as we come down to our white flag lap. Miles Jansen leads him down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4, just hanging it on the cushion there and bringing home heat race number 1. Second place going to Rylan Gray, and Billy Rowley will bring home the 3rd position. Final transfer spot to the 292 of Peyton Grease. And heat race number 2 beginning to form up now. Starting on the pole will be the number 23 of Shea Paulo. Outside of him, the 77 of Dustin Sargent, both talented drivers starting on the front row of heat race number 2. Row number 2, Joseph Bonagurio and Caleb Harmon in the 11. Row number 3, Steven Fernberg in the 029 and the 36 of Trace Olson. Row number 4 will be the 21 of Matt Yorker and Kyle Stewart in the 93. Row number 5, in the number 12, that is Riley Emig starting from the 9th position. And starting 10th, Joshua Piquel in the 41. And rounding out the field in the 144, that is Johnny Collier. Another fairly talented field out here tonight. Got some new names mixed in there. We just got our first chance to get a look at Joseph Bonagurio in the 305, limited 305 division, as well as quite a few veterans out here with Shea Paolo in the 23, Dustin Sargent in the 77, and Caleb Harmon in the 11. All very talented drivers, as we hope for this track to begin to dry out a little bit and open up into more of a two-lane racetrack. That first race was fairly single file, but tends to be expected in our early heat races. And should be going green out of turn 4 this time, as the iRacing.com pace truck has turned off the lights. As soon as he pulls in, Shea Paolo can go anytime he is in turn 4, laying back a pretty good distance off the pace truck.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out. Shea Paolo with a good jump. Dustin Sargent going to hold down second. Took an interesting line through 1 and 2, kind of entered a little bit in the middle of the track, but good run for him. Looks like got a few cars kind of blinking in and out there around the transfer spot. Trace Olson and Joseph Buonagurio battling it out for that final transfer spot, but now it looks like Trace Olson has kind of settled into 4th. Appears to be having some internet connection issues, so we will stick with Caleb Harmon, Dustin Sargent, and Shea Paolo for now. Paolo working the high side, just hooked up on the cushion, using the banking at the lower part of the track to increase his lead over Dustin Sargent and Caleb Harmon. Harmon now reeling in Dustin Sargent. These are Spec Series cars, so everyone's setup is completely equal, and they're running a full fuel load for a 40-lap race, so they're having to deal with that heavy fuel setting back behind the axle. Makes the cars a little bit loose at the beginning of one of these runs. And it looks like Riley Emig has now settled into the 4th spot, as Trace Olson has pulled off. Looks like he is going to call it a night, at least for this heat race. Now Caleb Harmon, working on the inside of Dustin Sargent, has the run down into turn 3. Big slide job, works up, grabs the cushion, makes it stick. Caleb Harmon to second. And looks like he's going to do a little bit of a safety slider here in turn 1. Make sure to cover off Sargent, getting a run on the outside. And looks like Riley Emig is going to be the beneficiary of the racing between those two, as he begins to close the gap now on Sargent and Harmon. Shea Paolo continues to stretch out his lead, coming down to 2 to go. Steven Fernberg now riding in the 5th spot. Got quite a lot of room. Right around 2 seconds he's going to have to make up on Riley Emig with the laps winding down. Not sure if he's going to be able to get into that 4th and final transfer spot, as Matt Yorker now works the bottom under Fernberg. Unable to do anything with it, though. White flag is out for Shea Paolo, your leader. Working it into 3 and 4. A little bit of a slider to make sure he covers off and picks up the win of heat race number 2, with Caleb Harmon finishing 2nd, Dustin Sargent 3rd, and the number 12 of Riley Emig picking up the 4th and final transfer spot for heat race number 2. And that's going to bring us around to heat race number 3. Starting on the pole, driving the number 40, sponsored by Double D Designs, that is Dustin Shreves in the number 40, and the double aught of Billy Brickley. Row number 2, driving the number 14, former USAC National Sprint Car competitor Mark Jessup, and outside of him, Dustin Griffiths in the number 82. Both of those guys are non-wing drivers in real life, so they are both definitely talented drivers when you put the wings on in iRacing. Be fun to see what they can do here in heat race number 3 as the track begins to open up. Row number 3 will be the number 8 of Carl Deitch and the 69 of Dylan Funkner. Row number 4, the 16 of Brian Dorge, and the number 10 of Coulter West, starting from the 8th position. Row number 5 will be the 53 of Dave Ward Jr., sporting a special 4th of July weekend paint scheme, and the number 2 of Andrew Hansen. And rounding out the field in the number 43, that is Bradley Hunt. And getting the signal for 1 to go. Caution lights are out on the iRacing.com pace truck. Another stacked heat race set to do battle here in heat race number 3. Beginning to believe that we won't have an easy heat race tonight for anybody. Good to see Mark Jessup of Jessup Logistics back doing a little racing with us here in the Spec Series.
Green, green, green.
And green flag is out. And Dustin Shreves picks up the pace. Doesn't get quite the jump he was looking for as Billy Brickley is going to cover off the outside. And those two are going to battle side by side down the backstretch. Shreves now stuck to the bottom of the track. Going to do a little bit of a short slider. Possible contact with Billy Brickley. Brickley gathers it up but unable to maintain position. As he is now spinning all the way back to the 11th position. Dustin Griffiths now with the charge on up to the front. Running around the outside of, throwing a slider to the inside of Dustin Shreves. Mark Jessup running third and Carl Deach now in 4th position. Griffiths now really pouring on the coal as he begins to stretch that lead out to 4/10 already. Make that 5/10 now. Shreves, Jessup, and Carl Deach all kind of bunched together, running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Still somewhat of a one-lane racetrack as we see Mark Jessup begin to try the inside of the track, stay down on the banking a little bit rather than out on the cushion. Jessup gaining a little bit of ground now on Dustin Shreves as Griffiths continues to extend his lead over Shreves. Carl Deach now beginning to feel a little bit of the pressure from the wrecking ball, Andrew Hansen running 5th. He's that first man out in the 5th and non-transferring spot. But look at the run he's now going to get on the number 8 of Carl Deach off of turn 4. Looks like your top 4 are more or less content to ride at the moment. Griffiths now out to a 1.2 second lead over 2nd place, Dustin Shreves. Now Hansen with a run up on the back bumper of Carl Deach. Looks like he's going to look low, possible slide job, not able to make it happen. Deach with a nice run around the outside through 1 and 2. Now Hansen looking low through 3 and 4. Right on the left rear of Carl Deach. Good car control there as they manage to keep away from each other. Now you have 4 cars now battling for basically 2nd through 5th. Jessup going to throw the slide job out of turn 4, coming to the checkered. Looks like he's going to pick up 2nd over Dustin Shreves, and Carl Deach will bring home your 4th and final transfer spot with Andrew Hansen having to go to the B main tonight. And I believe this will be our 4th and final heat race this evening. And starting on the pole will be the 91 of Ernie Williams Jr. and the 13 of Aiden Beerline. Row number 2 will be the triple lot of Austin Stern and the 51 of Mark Broderick. Row number 3, the 55 of Hayden Harvey and the 54 of Chris Jones. Row number 4, the number 5 of Stephen Vogelsong and the 29 of Anthony Goyet. Row number 5 will be the 17 of Anthony Woodhull and the 192 of David Carnes. Good to see David Carnes joining us again. We haven't seen a whole lot of him out here this season. And rounding out the field in row number 6, that would be Alex Robinson in the 42. And while we have a moment here, let's get a quick word from our sponsors. Always wanting to thank them while we have another lap under caution here. Got to thank Design Metal Art of Knoxville, Iowa. They specialize in laser engraving and metal art, of course. Jessup Logistics out of the Indianapolis area. Sofa King Fast Sim Sports. Pushing the Cushion Productions bringing you this broadcast tonight. Speed World Hobbies. Works Graphics, which is the iRacing Wraps company of Dave Ward Jr. And of course, Goyet Trucking, the sponsor of this series tonight. And pace truck is going to exit out of turn 4, and Ernie Williams picks up the pace, gets a great jump over Aiden Beerline. That's going to force Beerline to slide all the way back to 5th place by the time he exits turn 2. So Ernie Williams, Austin Stern, Mark Broderick, and Hayden Harvey currently your top 4. Almost 3 wide there into turn 1 between Austin Stern, Hayden Harvey, and Mark Broderick. Stern doing everything he can to hold on to that position right now. He's looking for a little insurance, but Mark Broderick is all over that Nerf bar, as he does not want to have Aiden Beerline right on his Nerf bar, knowing that that is the last transfer spot. Broderick with the slider on Hayden Harvey, on Austin Stern, my mistake. Ernie Williams beginning to stretch out a lead right now at about half a second over Hayden Harvey, but Hayden Harvey continues to run a slider line and slowly reeling in Ernie Williams Jr. Mark Broderick now working the low side of the speedway, trying to gain a little bit of ground on Hayden Harvey. Austin Stern still maintaining that 4th and final transfer spot, with Aiden Beerline sitting 5th, doing everything he can at the moment, looking all over the track for any bit of speed to get around Austin Stern. And looks like Hayden Harvey has finally wheeled right back on the back bumper of Ernie Williams Jr. as now he looks to the low side in turn 1 and 2. Keeps it down there, and he's going to make the pass on Ernie Williams Jr. Great drive for Hayden Harvey. Still working the low side of the track out of turn 4. Now he is going to begin to open up a lead over Ernie Williams Jr. Jr. a little bit over the cushion there in turn 1, but manages to gain a ton of speed down the backstretch and close right up on the back bumper of Hayden Harvey. Looks like he's going to go for the same move now through 1 and 2. Hayden Harvey works the low side. This time Ernie Williams Jr. not able to gain quite the speed advantage down the backstretch. Now Mark Broderick comes into the picture in 3rd position. Aiden Beerline still running 5th, trying to work back onto that bumper of Austin Stern. And white flag is out, so Beerline running out of time now if he's going to make a move. Looks like he's going to drive it on the top side, but the slider from Austin Stern is going to be just enough to hold him off for that 4th and final transfer spot. So your top 4 transferring to the A: Hayden Harvey, Ernie Williams Jr., Mark Broderick, and Austin Stern. And that's going to bring us over to our C main tonight. Looks like starting on the pole will be the number 9. Scored as the number 9. I believe it's a 28 on the car. That is Joseph Bonagurio. And the 53 of the Davenport Dart, Dave Ward Jr. Row number 2 will be the 192 of David Carnes and the 111 of Gary Denton. Row number 3 will be the 144 of Johnny Collier and the 43 of Bradley Hunt. Row number 4, Stephen Vogelsong in the number 5 and Cale Heibelt in the 58. Row number 5, Trace Olson in the 36 and Dylan Funkner in the 69. Row number 6 will be Alex Robinson in the 42 and Tyler McCabe in the 22. Row number 7 will be Kyle Stewart, and somebody we're not used to typically seeing this deep in the format. That will be the double out of Billy Brickley. Definitely somebody to watch tonight to see if he can make it to the A main. Row number 8, the 17 of Anthony Woodhull and the 28 of Reagan Edwards. And that will conclude our C main starting grid. So once again, all of us here at Pushing the Cushion Productions want to thank you, our viewers, for joining us on your 4th of July weekend. We appreciate your viewership, and hopefully we're putting on a good show for you tonight. We will be going green out of turn 4 this time by. Fairly interesting field to see here in a C main tonight. A lot of names that I would typically expect to see more in one of our A mains. Buonagurio taking a fairly slow pace.
Green, green, green.
And green flag is out as Buonagurio with a decent jump over the 53 of Dave Ward. Looks like David Carnes going to manage to work his way up into third position and close off Gary Denton. Buonagurio up into the fence in turn 3. Looks like that is likely going to end his night. And that is going to hand the lead over to David Carnes. Gary Denton in second. Johnny Collier running third now with Dave Ward holding down the fourth and final transfer spot from your C main. Here's the real story, though. The double out of Billy Brickley all the way up to fifth spot now, looking to the inside of his teammate. Looks like Brickley is going to pick off the fourth and final transfer spot, but did he have that pass completed by the time the yellow came out? And not sure what the cause of that yellow flag was. Hearing over race communications now that Billy Brickley is going to maintain the fourth position. He had completed his pass on Dave Ward when the caution flag came out. So we should see at least one more lap under caution here. So Billy Brickley all the way from the back of this field, all the way up into a transfer spot already in the C main. Something tells me he's not done yet. I'm sure his teammate Dave Ward is going to throw a lasso around the back bumper of that car and try to help him, have him help drag him to the front on this restart. So, current top 5. David Carnes, Gary Denton, Johnny Collier, Billy Brickley, and Dave Ward Jr. Let's go on board now with Billy Brickley on this restart. Really shading to the outside now. Good jump from David Carnes as he works the bottom side of the track, running a little bit of a slider now. Brickley all over the back of Gary Denton now looking for, he's already in third, now he's looking for second. Impressive run already from Billy Brickley. And I still don't think he's done as he is all over the back bumper now of David Carnes. Dave Ward still running fifth, your first man not going to make the transfer to the B main. And Billy Brickley has completed his charge to the front with 4 laps to go. Let's take a look back here at the fourth position where Johnny Collier is doing everything he can to keep Dave Ward behind him. He definitely wants to make the B main tonight. Now Collier beginning to gain a little bit of ground on Gary Denton. Track still remaining fairly narrow at this point. Banking has such an advantage over the cushion. Now Dave Ward manages to make the pass on Johnny Collier as Collier got a little out of shape coming out of turn 4. I think he got into the wall just a tiny little bit. Now Vogelsong is going to move up into the fifth spot. Dave Ward with your fourth and final transfer spot, and Billy Brickley has now opened up almost a second and a half over David Carnes. And white flag is out, so Billy Brickley taking the checkered now. Second place to David Carnes, third to Gary Denton, and your fourth and final transfer from tonight's C main will be the 53 of Dave Ward Jr. And that's going to bring us around to tonight's B main. Starting on the pole will be the 97 of Alex Hanna and the 029 of Steven Fernberg. Row number 2 will be the number 2 of Andrew Hansen and the 13 of Aiden Beerline. Row number 3, the 123 of Tyler LaPointe and the 21 of Matt Yorker. Row number 4, the 16 of Brian Dorge and the 54 of Chris Jones. Row number 5, the 19 of John Ruby and the 41 of Joshua Pickell. Row number 6, Coulter West in the 10 and the 29 of Anthony Goyet. Row number 7 will be Corey Austin and Billy Brickley. Row number 8, David Carnes and Gary Denton. And rounding out your field will be the 53 of Dave Ward Jr. At the risk of possibly giving somebody the announcer's curse here, I gotta say Alex Hanna should have this field more or less covered. He's a talented driver, and when you give him a pole position, he's tough to pass. From what I can tell, we may have a couple drivers that did not make the call tonight, possibly Tyler LaPointe and Matt Yorker. Looks like Fernberg's going to shade slightly ahead of Alex Hanna for this start, trying to give himself a bit of a chance at catching the start off of turn 4.
Green's out. Green flag.
Alex
green
Hanna
flag.
still gets a great jump as Fernberg's almost caught sleeping. That's going to allow Andrew Hansen to follow him through and grab the second place, working the top side of the speedway. Current top 4, Hanna, Hansen, Fernberg, and Beerline. And once again, Billy Brickley on an absolute tear through the field, all the way up to 6th or 7th, as the yellow flag is going to fly on lap number 2. Looking like that caution must come from the back of the field, as I'm not seeing anybody with a significant drop in from their starting position yet. Alex Hanna leading the field with Andrew Hansen in 2nd, Stephen Fernberg in 3rd, Aiden Beerline in 4th. That's your top 4 transfer spots. Of course, we will have 8 transferring from the B main tonight, since we were short 1 heat race. So we'll include Brian Dorge, Chris Jones, Billy Brickley, and John Ruby, currently all making tonight's A main from the B. The cars will form up now for their first attempt at a double wide restart. They'll be coming around to take 10 to go. Pace truck is off, and Alex Hanna on the loud pedal early. Gets a nice little jump on Andrew Hansen. Hansen quick to grab the cushion, going to try to rocket around the top side. Manages to close the gap on Alex Hanna. Hanna going to work the middle. Andrew Hansen working the outside. Everybody manages to make the first lap clean now. Aiden Beerline working into the 3rd spot. Billy Brickley up to the 5th spot. Stephen Fernberg kind of working the middle of the track. Now Brickley with a strong move from the inside, but that's going to result in several cars tangling.
Yellow flag is out.
Looks like Chris Jones and possibly Andrew Hansen involved in that last caution. Looked like Billy Brickley worked to the inside of the track, and I don't know if it surprised somebody or what happened there, but a couple cars made contact. Hansen went spinning around right in the middle of the front stretch, and I believe Chris Jones was the unlucky recipient of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And at least according to timing information here, it looks like Andrew Hansen was able to get the car back under power without coming to a stop, so he will retain the position he was in when the caution came out. Chris Jones, unfortunately, having to tow to the infield. So that will effectively end his night. So, top 8 as it currently stands: Alex Hanna, Billy Brickley, Stephen Fernberg, John Ruby, Aiden Bierlein, Corey Austin, Brian Dorge, and Coulter West rounding out your top 8, all transferring to tonight's A main. And as we pass the halfway point of this race, all restarts will be from single file. Be coming down to 4 to go. Once again, you can see Billy Brickley shading to the outside of Alex Hanna. He really likes the top side of the speedway, doesn't like to go down low unless he absolutely has to, so I'm sure he's hoping to show where he wants to be to his teammate. Hanna with a huge jump over Billy Brickley, really caught him sleeping on that restart. Now Fernberg and John Ruby battle it out for third and fourth. Give third to John Ruby down the backstretch. Big slider to cover off Stephen Fernberg. Now Aiden Bierlein throwing his hat into the mix. Corey Austin not wanting to yield the 6th spot, working the low side of the track. Quite a battle now from 3rd back through 6th. As we jump back up front, looks like Alex Hanna has opened up about a half-second lead over Billy Brickley. Brickley now working the bottom side of the track, possibly seeing something down there, and white flag is going to come out now. Looks like Alex Hanna going to bring home your B-main win. Billy Brickley in 2nd, John Ruby 3rd, Stephen Fernberg in 4th. 5th will go to the 13 of Aiden Bierlein. 6th to Corey Austin, 7th to Coulter West, and your 8th and final transfer spot will be the number 16 of Brian Dorge. And now we'll have a quick 2-minute warm-up for these drivers. Hopefully they'll be able to open up the track a little bit more. As through the consolations now, the track has remained fairly one lane. A little bit of passing going on, as Billy Brickley definitely proved was possible. Let's see who our fastest on the track are. Let's go on board now with Caleb Harmon as he works the top side of the speedway. Hopefully give you a little bit of an idea of the difference in banking around the top versus around the bottom. Volusia is actually completely backward compared to almost every other track in the nation, where at Volusia, the bottom actually tends to have more banking than the top side of the track. But still, even with the lack of banking, some of the time the long sweeping nature of the corner allows you to still carry more speed. Now he works to the inside a little bit. As you can tell, once you get into that slick, it's hard to bring the car back off the bottom. And looks like Billy Brickley is going to have the fastest time in that warm-up with a 14:3:49. Shea Pallow right behind him. And that's going to bring us around to tonight's feature race. of the Goyet Trucking 360 Spec Series. And starting on the pole will be the number 44 of Miles Jansen. Outside of him, the number 23 of Shea Paulo. Row number 2, the 82 of Dustin Griffiths and the 55 of Hayden Harvey. Row number 3, the 06 of Rylan Gray and the 11 of Caleb Harmon. Row number 4, the 14 of Mark Jessup and the 91 of Ernie Williams Jr. Row number 5, the 79 of the Tuna Can, Billy Rowley, and the number 77 of Dustin Sargent. Row number 6 will be the number 40 of Dustin Shreves and the 51 of Mark Broderick. Row number 7, the 292 of Peyton Grease and the 12 of Riley Emig. Row number 8 will be the number 8 of Carl Deach and starting 16th, the triple odd of Austin Stern. Row number 9, the 97 of Alex Hanna and the double odd of Billy Brickley. And row 10 will be the 19 of John Ruby, the 029 of Stephen Fernberg. Row number 11, the 13 of Aiden Beerline, the 92 of Corey Austin. And rounding out your field tonight will be the number 10 of Coulter West and the number 16 of Brian Dorge. And as I look through this field tonight, I see a lot of talent that has made our A main, even with the interesting heat races, to say the least, and a lot of guys that we would typically expect to see in our A main, having to run a little bit of alphabet soup. And caution lights are out on the iRacing.com pace truck. We will be going green out of turn number 4. Miles Jansen with a good jump. Shea Paulo managing to hold down second. Looks like Jansen having a slight internet connection issue there. Dustin Griffith's going to work the low side of the track. Possibly playing it close considering his nickname Catch Fence. Paulo now to the lead with a slider on Miles Jansen. Jansen going to battle back 3 wide into turn 3. Dustin Griffiths on the bottom. Jansen works the middle, gets around, and will take the lead back just as the yellow flag comes out. Impressive run there for Miles Jansen to turn back under Shea Paulo and not get into Dustin Griffiths coming off the low side in turn 2. What a move. And as always, the iRacing.com pace truck taking its sweet time getting to the head of the field. Well, your current running order is as follows. Miles Jansen in the 44 leading the field. Dustin Griffiths in second. Shea Paulo third. Fourth is Hayden Harvey. Fifth is Rylan Gray. Sixth looks like the running order has gotten a little messed up there, so looks like 6th will be Caleb Harmon. Looks like John Ruby going back to the tail of the field. And caution lights are out on the iRacing pace truck, so we should be going green out of turn 4. Double wide restart, first attempt out of 2.
Green.
Miles Jansen going to get a good jump on Dustin Griffiths now as Shea Paulo is going to work the bottom side of the track. Looks like he made contact with the inside wall, gathers it up before getting into Hayden Harvey, but that's going to cost him several positions as he's going to fall all the way back to 7th. Now Dustin Griffiths works the low side of the speedway, and he's going to make the pass on Miles Jansen down the front stretch. Once again, working the low side through 1 and 2, makes it stick now, as he's going to completely claim the lead from Miles Jansen going into turn 3. Hayden Harvey and Rylan Gray battle it out for 3rd and 4 now. Harvey going to work a slight slider line. Didn't leave Rylan Gray a whole lot of room, but Rylan able to power around the outside. And look at the gaggle of cars battling right now for looks like 5th through 8th. And looks like a couple cars possibly getting tangled up. So that's going to bring out the caution for the 2nd time this evening. And this will be the 2nd and final attempt at a double wide restart when we get things sorted back out. Let's go on board now with Catch Fence Dustin Griffiths. Get a little bit of a view of what the track's looking like. Definitely beginning to widen out as there's a significant slick portion of the track right through the middle. Hasn't taken any rubber yet, but it is without a doubt dry slick, as you can see the shine coming off the track. As you can see, as they rolled down the backstretch there, this is a significant D shape to the oval. Makes a fairly interesting run from the exit of turn 2 to the entrance of turn 3. You want to be as far out as you can to maintain speed, but at the same time you don't want to get into that fence, which can really jump out and bite you, as I've found out myself multiple times at this track. And it looks like we are back to double wide, and lights are off on the pace truck, so we will be green out of turn 4. Miles Jansen had managed to gather the lead back up right before that caution came out. Hayden Harvey and Rylan Gray still riding 3rd and 4th. I'm sure they're just waiting for their opportunity at this point. And green flag out.
Green flag.
Miles Jansen with the good jump. Look at Dustin Griffiths go all the way up and grab what little cushion is up there. Big run down the backstretch. He's going to dive to the inside of 3 and 4. Has enough of a run to get alongside Miles Jansen on the front stretch. Now big slider through turn 2. Jansen turns it back under him. Griffiths unable to make it work that first attempt. 4 wheels above the cushion through 3 and 4. Griffiths is all over the tail tank of Miles Jansen. Griffiths finally able to make the slider stick through turn 2 that time. Miles Jansen works back to the inside of the track, tries to take the line away from Griffiths, and oh, Miles Jansen right rear, right into the Nerf bar of Dustin Griffiths. Griffiths turns it over in turn 4, but does manage to land back on the wheels. Oh, he cannot be happy about how that turn of events went. Tough break for Dustin Griffiths. That's going to leave Miles Jansen with the lead, as United Dirt Sim Series officials, I'm sure, will be reviewing what occurred there, as it looks like Miles Jansen will be receiving a possible EOL. And that is confirmed. Miles Jansen will be going to the tail of the field with Dustin Griffiths, so it'll be interesting to see what happens between those two the rest of the evening. And that's going to leave Rylan Gray leading the field on this next restart. Hayden Harvey 2nd, Shea Pallow in 3rd, and Ernie Williams in 4th. Big story though, Billy Brickley all the way up to 8th now. Looks like we'll be going green on lap number... We'll be starting lap 19 when we go green. Looks like they're going to get one final attempt at a double wide restart. Rylan Gray looking to the low side on this restart. He's going to grab the tacky at the bottom of the track, picks up the loud pedal, and here we go. And looked like somebody was way up on the top of the track, possibly ate the fence going into turn number 1. Not sure who that was, though, as Shea Paulo works the inside now, trying to make it stick, working under Hayden Harvey. Rylan Gray begins to stretch out his lead just a little bit. Harvey riding in second, Ernie Williams third now, as Shea Paulo unable to make it work on the bottom side of the track through 1 and 2. Now Billy Brickley moves into 7th spot as he continues his charge toward the front. Mark Broderick working the bottom side of the track under Shea Paulo, who unfortunately at the moment seems to have the anchor out as he moves backward through the field. Ernie Williams Jr. now closed right up on the back bumper of Hayden Harvey, doing everything he can to make his presence known. And here comes the slide job from Ernie Williams Jr. Harvey turns it back down the track, unable to get a good drive off the corner, though. Looks like he's going to have to answer with a slide job of his own through turn 2. Ernie Williams turns it back under him out of turn 2. Looks like these two are going to trade slide jobs for a few laps here. And I was wrong, as Hayden Harvey just grabs the bottom of the track. Meanwhile, Rylan Gray, if he's looking in his mirror, is liking what he's seeing as those two do battle. It just allows him to stretch out his lead a little bit more. 16 to go this time by. Billy Brickley now riding in that 5th spot, as Shea Paulo and Hayden Harvey seem to be fighting over track position just a little bit. Excuse me. Now Billy Brickley has fallen quickly back through the field, so he may have been tangled in an accident there. Not sure exactly what happened. And caution flag is going to come out. And this is exactly what Rylan Gray was hoping not to see, as he had opened up a fairly decent lead over Ernie Williams Jr. There's one thing you don't want to give Ernie Williams Jr., and that's a lot of second chances. But with that, our top 10 at this time is Rylan Gray leading, Ernie Williams second, Hayden Harvey in third, Peyton Grease in fourth, Shea Paulo in fifth, Mark Broderick 6th, Aiden Bierlein in 7th, Riley Emick in 8th, Corey Austin in 9th, and John Ruby rounding out the top 10. Dustin Griffiths is already charged all the way back up to 11th. So good showing from Catch Fence here as he battles his way back through the field. Still got time to make it happen, although it will be tough to catch the front runners again. And caution lights are out on the speedway, so we will be green out of turn number 4 with 11 to go when the green comes out. Rylan Gray early on the loud pedal. Good jump out of turn number 4 on Ernie Williams. And look at how close they are working to that wall now at a turn number 2. Ernie Williams closing in quickly on the back bumper of Rylan Gray. And beginning to open up a slight lead over Hayden Harvey. As now Peyton Grease throws the slider up into turn 2, makes contact with Hayden Harvey. Harvey looks like he hit the gap in the backstretch wall, and that's going to bring out the caution once again.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
A little bit of delay on the caution, but it will come out as we have 9 laps to go. That's going to leave Aiden Beerline with the 3rd position, Riley Emig with 4th, so quite a few guys kind of tangling up there. I may be mistaken on that, but it looks like Mark Broderick may be scored in 4th now. Finally making an appearance in the top 10. Looks like Alex Hanna is now up possibly to 7th. Austin Stern to 8th. Billy Rowley has worked his way back into the top 10. He's running 9th. And Brian Dorge, who I believe came out of the B main, he is now running 10th. So good showing for some of our transfer cars, as well as some of the guys who initially fell back at the beginning of this race. And this time by, drivers receiving the 1 to go signal from the flagman. Be interesting to see where Rylan Gray goes on this restart. The past few times he's been on the low side of the track and gotten a good drive out of turn 4. Will he continue that, or will he actually stay up top and try to get the run off the top side of turn 4? As he begins to look down the track, possibly to the middle. Pace truck is off the track, and Rylan Gray picks up the loud pedal. Ernie Williams with a good restart, staying right on his tail tank. And look at Aiden Beerline now, not giving an inch, following right behind those two. Ernie Williams all over the tail tank of Rylan Gray, and now the slider into turn number 2. Rylan Gray manages to power back by, turns it down the track. A great race between these two. Rylan Gray manages to retain the lead as Ernie Williams is forced to back out and turn it down the track through 3 and 4. But he's not done yet, as he is still all over the tail tank of Rylan Gray. And for those that are wondering, even if you're not looking in your mirror, you can hear the engine of the car when they're that close to you. Ernie Williams now looks to the inside of Rylan Gray through 3. Big slide job all the way up, grabs the cushion. Rylan Gray turns it down to the bottom side of the track, tries to power back past. Now he's going to answer with a slide job of his own through 1 and 2. White flag is out for these two. Ernie Williams has the lead going into turn 3. He's going to look to the bottom side of the track. Rylan Gray, bottom of the track. The two drag race back to the line. Ernie Williams Jr. picking up the win. Rylan Gray 2nd. Aiden Beerline will bring home 3rd. Riley Emig 4th. John Ruby in 5th. Billy Rowley all the way back up to 6th. Mark Jessup 7th. Mark Broderick 8th. Wow, what a close to that race. I don't know about you race fans, but I'll take a conclusion like that any day of the week. We're going to give them just a few minutes to kind of line things up here. And now we've got some time here. We'll get a word with our 3rd place finisher, Aiden Beerline. Aiden, great drive out there. You just suddenly kind of found yourself in 3rd place, and it looked like a few times you were going to get a decent run on Ernie Williams or even on Rylan Gray, and it just never quite materialized. Can you tell me what happened out there?
I don't know. The car was just tight in places I didn't want it to be, and loose in places I didn't want it to be in when it was loose. So I couldn't find the right balance until the last lap.
Gotcha. Well, you definitely made quite a charge through the field. A good drive tonight, and you can never be too disappointed when you bring home any kind of a podium.
Oh no, sir. I'm very thankful. I got third. Got very lucky when I was sitting seventh, and everyone in front of me just wrecked.
Yeah, some of the time a little bit of luck never helps. As I've always said, it's better to be lucky than good, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, congratulations on third place tonight. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, first off, God for everything He does for me. My parents for letting me do iRacing, and y'all for putting on a great show, and KPR for being an amazing team.
Well, congratulations once again. Thanks for coming out, and great job on the third place tonight.
Thank you.
And still waiting on our second place and first place finishers to be prepared for interviews. We'll give them just a few minutes here. I have to say, that battle between Ernie Williams and Rylan Gray was something just absolutely out of this world on those concluding laps. Anytime you get two drivers that want to throw everything out there on the track, leave nothing behind, absolutely incredible racing. And Rylan Gray has still not made it into post-race interviews, so we'll go ahead and jump over to our winner tonight. Ernie Williams Jr. picking up the win, and I have to say that was an absolutely incredible conclusion to that race.
That was fun, man. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get around him. The track was staying pretty much even. He was kind of like running my line and everything, so I really didn't know if I was going to get around him. And I got a little run, and I was like, man, if I get another run, I'm going to start the slide job battle, and I started it early enough to where I ended up winning it the last two laps. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have to say that last lap where you almost went into the middle of the track and just kind of slid up to grab the cushion. I thought you may have made a mistake there, but you really made that line work for you on the concluding lap.
Yeah, I didn't want to go because if I'd have entered high on three, I felt like that would give him a better run because the track wasn't all the way up to the cushion. It was probably about a car length half down off of the actual cushion. That was still good track, and I just wanted to get to it real fast. I felt like if I could get to it fast, that would kind of like counteract me taking the big sweep into three and letting him get a good run, dive in, and plus it kind of blocks the slider line. It gives me an opportunity. If he does do a slider line, I can turn down, and I won't have to turn down all the way across the track. I just got to turn down a little bit, and I'll be pretty much straight, pointed straight down the straightaway, and hopefully just get a good drive off. And like I said, luckily I got up into tacky good enough to where my car bit, and it pulled me right out of four, right down the straightaway.
Now this is your second win on the Spec
Uh,
Series.
I think so. I think maybe. I think I got a top 2 or 3 here recently.
Yeah, it
Could be
seems
my second win.
it seems like every time you're here, we're interviewing you. So you've definitely got some consistency to run at the front here every time you show up.
That's what we strive for, man. It's especially when you get a new set like this. You can't really touch anything. You got to kind of adapt. You got to change with the track, and you got to get adjusted to the car fairly quick. If not, you're just going to go backwards. Especially when the track gets late and it gets slick.
Yeah, it seemed like it took a long time for the track to get to that state, though. It seemed like
Yeah, it
everything
did.
stayed
Yeah,
real narrow.
yeah. I wish it would have got there 15 laps sooner. I mean, I'm a guy that likes the track to slicken off. To where there's a bottom and there's a top, and you have a slider line, and it was slowly getting there, but luckily it come in a little bit where like I said, there was bumps coming into two, and he was getting on them a little bit, and that was allowing me to stay consistent enough on him on number two because he was having trouble over them bumps, and I was missing the bumps. I was coming off the cushion a little bit sooner than that because as soon as I seen him riding the cushion, it was bumpy. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do it either. It would just throw my speed off. And I had Hayden behind me for a while, and I know he's fairly good. So, you know what I mean? I was worried about him, so I wanted to make sure I got through that section pretty good.
Yeah, it looked like you were easily running the cleanest line out of turn two, and it seemed like every time you were closing up on him, it was when he would get up a
Yep.
little bit too high,
Yep.
and boom, you were right there.
Yep. I think that started the slide job battle. He come down off of even down the straightaway, got in the slick, and he had to slow down to get his car. And I got a good run off, and it just put me right within a half a car length, right to his bumper, and that allowed me to come out of four. I went into one, and I started the slide job at it right there.
Well, it paid off in the end, that's for sure.
Absolutely, we'll take the win however we can get him. I mean, it's a good race. I mean, clean. I don't think I got into him at all. So just thank the guys from Black Diamond Motorsports for putting me on the team. All that good shit you guys doing. Ooh, excuse my language. You guys for doing the broadcast, and UDSS for putting on the league, man. You guys enjoy the day.
Well, we enjoy having you come out and join us every time you manage to show up. So congratulations on the win tonight, and you gonna show up tomorrow night possibly?
I'm going to start running an asphalt league tomorrow night. I probably shouldn't admit that, but I'm going to, I'm going to venture out into that on Monday nights from here on out.
Well, we'll see you back when
Yeah,
when you're ready
seen
for
that.
real cars.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get pestered about that. I can see it. But you guys have a good day, man. Hopefully, I'll see you guys next Sunday.
All right. Well, good luck
Thank you,
tomorrow
man.
night. Well, another night concluded, and congratulations to our winners from both series tonight. And from all of us here at Pushing the Cushion Productions and United Dirt Sim Series, we appreciate you coming out and joining us this evening. Hopefully, we put on a great show for you. And thanks for spending a little time with us on your 4th of July weekend. And hopefully, you'll join us tomorrow night to conclude our weekend of racing. I know it's kind of weird concluding a weekend on a Monday, but hey, it's how we do it. So, thanks for joining us. Hope to see you tomorrow night, and we'll see you next time.